Hello everyone and welcome to our Gameweek 37 preview show. I'm Chris, Kieran is here too. Hello Keek, how are you doing today?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Yourself?
Good, yeah. We were just talking just a minute ago. I'm happy that it's a double game week, but maybe I need that excitement that there's going to be some differentials and make the difference. I just feel like I've been looking at teams and everyone looks the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a particularly fun one
No.
unless City do well.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll talk through the picks tonight and our teams as well as talk about our chip strategies towards the end. Well, for now and this game week and what we're doing towards the end of the season. But let's start. Shall we just talk about game week 36 very briefly and how we got on? Remind me what you did because I can't.
I did. Oh God, who was it? I've completely forgot who I got rid of now. It was Van Heck. That was it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Van Heck to Gabriel, which is obviously.
Oh, it worked.
Yeah, 7 points. But yeah, like I said last week, feels like it's not particularly gaining me much rank, but rather have those points than not, I suppose. Yeah. So this week, other than that, like the Petrovic clean sheet was nice. Palmer points, Foden points, Son points late. Isaac had him since he was like 10% EO. Now he's like close to 100 each week, which is a shame. So his points didn't really matter, but yeah, we'll see Haaland's. And it's just my big differential of like Garnacho and De Bruyne blanking. So yeah, red arrow, unfortunately, 2 weeks before the end, which is not ideal, but yeah, just still within the top 100k. Hopefully this week can at least try and maybe get me to like towards like 50k. That would be nice, but I don't know. That's probably the goal now, unfortunately.
I know it's difficult. I was having a look at all the like I said about the template. It feels like it's so strong because the double game week is landed in 37. It feels like towards the end of the season, everyone's sort of going to be having similar players for the double, and then obviously for the final game week of the season. So yeah, it'd just be interesting to talk a little bit about how we navigate that and differentials here and there. On my team, I hit 100, but I had a -4.
Yeah,
so
nice.
I actually sold Salah and I sold Solanke for a -4. In hindsight's wonderful. And I said to you, didn't I? Like it's typical because I probably could have taken a -8 to get rid of Son and Trent and maybe get more template City defender and some cheap midfielder, but I didn't. I thought I'd sell Salah because he seemed out of form and he put up like his biggest score in like the last 10 game weeks, which was typical. But even still, I kept Mateta, chose to play him over Garnacho, which I was really like up until the deadline on, and that came in. Braithwaite got a clean sheet, so yeah, 103 and a small green arrow up to 62k. But I'm prepping with all these bench boosts being flexed. I just think the red arrow is happening this week. I saw a stat: 83% of the top 10k are playing bench boost this week, and 84% of like people in the 100k are playing their bench boost. So
Yeah.
I'm in that firm 15 or 16% minority. So I don't know. It's difficult. I suppose I made my big rank gain of like 50k from my bench boost, so I'm kind of expecting to fall back a little bit because of that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's all sort of truncated, and everyone's sort of set to seem to keep their chips for these things, and probably a highlight for what's going to happen next season when there's going to be less doubles as well. So, and everyone's teams are pretty much going to be the same throughout. Yeah, get used to it.
Yeah, interesting. All right, well, should we talk about? We've tried to pick up on some differential picks, I think, because I've been looking at EO of players as well, and we were going to highlight a couple of players for each position who are perhaps not in the template before sharing our bench boost teams. Talk to me about who. I mean, you've got some of these players, and I've got some of them as well, but perhaps like justify why you've got some picks as well, I suppose.
Okay, so I'll start with goalkeepers. Obviously, Petrovic seems to be a bit of a no-brainer, but he is actually 6.4% owned at the moment. So I guess still a differential, surprisingly, because he's done all right recently.
Yeah.
So Nottingham Forest away and Brighton away, 2 away games in the double, and then they got Bournemouth at home. So in the last game week, so all those fixtures sound pretty good, to be honest. 3 clean sheets in the last 6 for him, 2 clean sheets in a row. Sanchez still injured as far as I know. Played every minute since game week 17. So yeah, he should be nailed on, of course. That's what it seems like anyway. 14 of his 19 starts, he's got at least 1 save point, which is really good.
Yeah.
But he's only actually gotten 2 plus save points in a game twice. So you're not expecting huge amounts of saves, but usually he's going to get at least 1. So that's good. 5th highest scoring goalkeeper of the last 6 weeks with 28 points. Not amazing, but still up there. 4th highest expected points for goalkeepers, which I was a little bit surprised by.
Is that for this game week or for the end of the season?
That's for this week. This double. So 6.8 behind Vicario, 7.6 for Edison, and 7.3. Vicario on 7.6, Edison on 7.3, and Dubravka on 7.0, and Petrovic's expected points is 6.8. So not far behind like Dubravka and stuff, but Vicario well ahead on 7.6. So I think possibly Forest's game, they're still playing for something. Might be a couple save points there.
Yeah.
Possibly a clean sheet. Probably not. But and then the Brighton game, who knows with them at the moment? They're a little bit hard to pin down in their form and what they're going to do. So possibly a clean sheet there. I feel like he's certainly one of the keepers you should own for the bench boost, and I do have him. And then other than that, it's take your pick, really.
Yeah, I kind of I look at him and think, well, at the moment he's in my free hit team. I think just on paper their fixtures are better. I was surprised when I was looking at Vicario and trying to see if he was worth it. I was actually surprised to see that he's ahead of Petrovic. Like, I appreciate Forest are trying to fight in to stay up, but I think the fact that Vicario plays City in one of their games, Dubravka plays Man United, and obviously Edison, I'd already pitch Edison to be maybe slightly better than Petrovic, but I was surprised to see his ownership so low, and his effective ownership's low as well. I think it's less than 40% still. So I think he is a good shout and 3 good fixtures before the end of the season. It's just a case of, do you double up on that Chelsea defence and or go single for this one? And that's going to be definitely a talk when we pick up on Jackson a little bit later, because I had him on Sunday, and now as we're getting closer to the sort of start of this game week, I'm just thinking about not going there. But anyway,
Petrovic?
Petrovic.
Okay.
I mean like my 3 Chelsea assets. Like, right. I'm sort of sacrificing Jackson for another player and getting Petrovic instead. So Vicario's he's an interesting one because, like you mentioned, he's top for expected points this week, so that stood out. He's got 7.6, but like Spurs' form is so bad. So 1 clean sheet since game week 28. In that time, he's got 5 same points, average of 2 points per game, which is pretty woeful. Mm-hmm. But then if you're playing the fixtures and you're playing bench boost, let's say this game week, Burnley and Sheffield United, who are both pretty much relegation threatened, pretty much likely to go down. Burnley played really poorly last weekend against Newcastle. If they do that again, no reason to suggest, they conceded that goal late right at the end, no reason to suggest Spurs can't keep a clean sheet in that game and then can't keep a clean sheet away against Sheffield United in the last game of the season. Because you've got to think, Spurs actually do have a position to hold on to in 5th. Like, Newcastle are running, they've got like 3 decent games, I'd say, and Spurs are wobbling. So they've got a reason to tighten up. So I don't mind Vicario as a pick. It's a bit more expensive obviously than Petrovic, but what do you think about him?
The like sort of points for him to get up towards like the 8/10s is relying on that Burnley at home game for sure. He's probably might get a couple save points against City. Never expecting a clean sheet there, so it's on that Burnley game for Spurs assets almost. Yeah, like it's kind of almost like a single game week in a way. Exactly. Except for maybe Vicario, because he could get a few save points plus appearance points for that. So Vicario probably is one of the better Spurs picks this week, honestly.
I'm definitely like looking at United like that as well for this game week. Like, I definitely don't see that as a juicy double. One, because of how trash they've been recently. Like, I'll talk about United picks a bit more later because I highlighted Bruno, but that Arsenal game, I can't see a clean sheet, and I definitely can't see them scoring or even scoring lots of goals. And then it's Newcastle, who are just scoring goals for fun recently. So I think
good for save points.
Maybe good for save points.
I mean, he got 6 saves against Crystal Palace, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just the other goalkeeper to mention on my side, it's super boring, but obviously Ederson has still got really low ownership as well, 8%. He's probably the least sexy pick of all the City defenders. But on the flip side, he's maybe the most reliable. Walker maybe pushing him for that. City have had 2 clean sheets in the last 4 games. I think based on like now until the end of the season, you'd be looking at 1 to 2 clean sheets. Fulham is a maybe. West Ham on that final day would be a definite. Tottenham, I'm not so sure. He doesn't get save points, so he's only had 6 points from saves all season, only 5 bonus. So the upside isn't really there from Ederson. But we said that about Raya, didn't we, in double game week 34, and I think he got bonus in one of the games. So yeah, anything can happen in a double.
He loves a mistake to concede one.
True.
So he's that's an option for Ederson to happen for sure. The other one I just wanted to pick out is not even a double game week player. It's Pickford. 4.8 million, 16%. So he is fairly high owned now. But Sheffield United at home. If you're looking at like maybe on a free hit, you probably take him as your bench backup. I think that seems quite good. But yeah, if you don't already have a sort of second double game week player for the bench boost, I don't think Pickford's a bad shout. Like there's he's got the best clean sheet chances of the week as far as I know, for just a single game. 64% chance of winning according to the bookies for Everton as well. So he is the top scoring goalkeeper on 144, and the second is on 130, so that's quite a distance ahead. And then in the last 6 game weeks, he's been the top scoring goalkeeper on 42 points. He's got 8 bonus in 6 weeks, 7 extra save points as well. So yeah, Pickford looks good. That fixture, I wouldn't be surprised if they win that to 0 quite easily, to be honest. So Sheffield United have got absolutely nothing to play for now. So I suppose Everton don't really either. But that looks like a nailed on clean sheet.
Yeah, and it's funny with Pickford, and this is like a general like wider view about the season. But like we never properly like considered him at the start of the season. And he was 4.5 million in a Dyche team who notoriously had like Pope in previous seasons be like the top scoring goalkeeper. We were so like attracted to Turner and Areola, but like picking just and sticking with Pickford and their like backup 4 million goalkeeper would have been just absolutely fine.
Do you reckon he'll go to 5 million next year?
Probably.
I hope not.
He probably will. If he ends at 4.8, I imagine he would.
Yeah. I'll just make him a non-pick then, unfortunately.
Might make him worth it though. Like because people might not go there. Look at White this season. No one wanted him when he was 6. Was he 5.5?
5.5, I think.
And then he's the top scoring defender in the game. So yeah. All right. Let's talk about defenders. I mentioned him just briefly a minute ago. What do you think about Walker? Like Gvardiol. Everyone is just loves Gvardiol at the moment. He had something like, I don't know if you've got it like noted anywhere, but I saw that he got like was it like 28 points in game weeks 1 to 32, and then it's like 32 points in 33 to 36 or something ridiculous like that.
Okay.
I just don't know how long this hot streak is going to continue for. And Walker, I would say, is slightly more assured of minutes. And over the last 3 games of the season, he's his recent form, Walker, has actually been quite good. He's got 14, 8 and 2. And that game he scored 8 in was the 2-0 clean sheet against Forest. He didn't get any attacking returns in there and just scored highly on bonus. Stats quite similar to Gvardiol's as well. Like big chances, created 1, which is paltry. But that's the same as Gvardiol. He's only had 1 key pass fewer. Doesn't have any shots in the box. But I don't know, I just feel like Gvardiol's just in everyone's team. And I don't know, it just seems like such a... I don't know, everyone thinks he's a guarantee. What do you think about him at the moment? I'm not sure. I just don't get it.
I mean, I would prefer Gvardiol, I think. I think he's slightly cheaper, slightly lower owned at the moment still. Don't imagine that will be the case actually come the actual start of 37. But he returned again, another 6 points last week, despite the clean sheet, got the attacking return.
Yeah.
I feel like he is only going to be the one that people look at, really. So Walker will be a decent differential in that case. Assuming like Cancelo, I think is still on loan. Assuming he doesn't return next season or he gets sold or whatever, Gvardiol should be a lock in most teams. Like sort of Stones was meant to be at the start of the season for us. Gvardiol certainly could be in game week 1 next season. Yeah, he had 0.4 xG against Wolves, and he also had a 0.51 expected goal involvement versus Wolves. So that's the first time he's gotten over 0.5
That's
xGI
interesting.
all season. So that just to me says he's getting more involved, more attacking each week, getting further up the pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 6 weeks he's had 1 point less than KDB. Over the last
That's
which is,
crazy.
and he's 5.4 million cheaper. So,
But what do you
yeah.
think is more sustainable though? That's what I was thinking about earlier. Like, is he really that much more sustainable than like scoring those points than KDB is, for instance? Because that's like a big decision for me on free hit and others on bench boost. What's your opinion on that?
I think third asset for me, like you get Vardiol, and then that means you can get like a Gordon or a Bruno or a Charlton in the extra midfield slot. Whereas there's not as many. There's better options at midfield, whereas there's less good options in defense. Like Vardiol is certainly one of the good options this week.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think for me, like there's better options in midfield than KDB. Well, obviously KDB is still a good one, but like Vardiol just seems to slot in that space to give you loads of budget to get whoever you want elsewhere.
Yeah. I get that.
I mean, I'm currently on KDB, so I'm already stuck with the 3, and I'm not going to spend 2-3 chances in a hit to change that out. But yeah, if I do it again, I'd be on Guardiola for sure. Yeah,
that's interesting. I will. Yeah, maybe we'll just talk about. Should we talk? Have you got anything on KDB?
I don't know if you want to. Yeah,
just maybe. Let's talk about KDB when we talk about mids actually. But no, I kind of. It's a hard pick for me, like on the City midfielders versus defenders. Like I'm pretty sure, obviously I want Haaland. Pretty sure I want our midfielder minimum, and then just I don't know, backing a defense that this season has been so inconsistent seems really difficult.
Could you back KDB over Foden and get Gvardiol?
Well, I could do. I could go either, but I just think that the upside for the City mids is way higher than the City defenders, and I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they scored like a 2 somewhere between, let's say 4 and 8, and KDB hits like a 20 like Odegaard did. So I just think possible. I just think I just don't see that crazy upside in Gvardiol, but I do in City midfielders.
Well, City's defense is now like the best in the league in the last 6, so their XGC is now 4.8, which is surpassing Arsenal's brilliant and mostly doubled up defense that most people have. So, and theirs was around like 6 XGC. So, yeah, they're looking better there. But obviously, however, they've only kept 2 clean sheets in the last 6, whereas Arsenal have kept 5. So, yeah, like I said, always susceptible to conceding 1, but their numbers in terms of chances and goals conceded expected is the highest it's been pretty much all season.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. All right. Have you got any more defenders to mention?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Porro. Like he is 5.8 million, 19.8%. He's not going to be a differential for this week, but yeah, the fixture, obviously Burnley at home looks great. Man City at home, there is 2 home games there, so that's something to be noted, I guess. So that like the narrative last week was Burnley had something to play for against Newcastle, but Newcastle had terrible away form, so that didn't stop Burnley getting destroyed, right? Then Burnley come away this week to Spurs, and then Burnley also really need points now, but then Spurs also need the points, so that's surely a good thing for Spurs, like attacking wise, maybe not clean sheet wise. So yeah, they've actually had no clean sheets since game week 28, so that's not good.
No.
Since his injury return, he's had 7-1, 2-2, 11, 0-1, 1-0. So he's had like 1 clean sheet, 1 goal, and 4 bonus in the 9 weeks, and the rest of them all blanks. It's really not good. Yeah, the fixture difficulty rating actually has Spurs as the best sort of double game week games, which seems weird, but for me, yeah, all hangs on that Burnley game. If he's not coming out of it with at least 6 points, then he's going to be max probably 2, 3, 4 across the whole double, which is a shame. But yeah, his game week 31 to 36 Spurs expected goals conceded is 11.8, which is 16th worst. 21 big chances conceded, which is 18th worst. 20 headed chances conceded, 18th worst. 92 shots conceded, 10th worst. So yeah, the defense is not looking good. And then Burnley's attack is 8.49 xG, which is 14th, 79 shots is 15th, and 12 big chances 14th. So it's a bad defense versus a bad attack. So which one's going to sort of break there? Not sure. But then Porro's stats is pretty poor as well. Like shots 8, which is 6th of defenders, 0 big chances for himself, 0.26 xG, which is not in the top 20 of all defenders. 5 key passes, not in the top 20. Big chances created though 3, which is joint second, and an XA of 0.87, which is 4th. So the XA of the big chances created don't really sort of add up with the KP for me. So I would think the key passes really should be his sort of bread and butter. But to note is that if Maddison's going to keep getting benched, he has been on all set pieces, including free kicks, when Maddison's not been on the pitch. So yeah, that's certainly another route to points, and we did see that at points during the season when Maddison was injured, that Porro became a really good option because he was taking all those set pieces. So yeah. I think like the majority are going to own him, but I don't think he's got a particularly high ceiling for this week. I'll own him just because I already do. You'll probably own him just because, like,
his upside maybe.
It's a bit of upside. Name only, really.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Romero probably is a better option. Like Romero's been attacking quite a lot, getting chances on corners, and like
an open play. He was good against Arsenal.
Exactly.
He was really good against Arsenal. Yeah, but you're right. Their goals conceded is just like worrying. Like 4, 2, 3, and 4 in their last 4 games. Admittedly, it was against tough teams in Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Newcastle. But that doesn't inspire confidence. I have looked at Romero, and I definitely think something that I'm going to have to do a bit more of, which I've not done, is just look at this like effective ownership and take some punts on players. Because you're right, I kind of think people just own Porro because of his name, but perhaps he isn't the best pick this week. But so interesting. The only other person just mentioned really quickly is Burn. Again, he's really high effective ownership as well. Brighton are 4th lowest for XG away from home and of goals scored in the last 4 game weeks. And United just came off a blank against Palace. So I kind of think Burn looks good for like maybe at least one clean sheet in that.
We'll see.
So
not expecting much from him, honestly.
All right, we should move on to mids.
Sure.
I did have some notes on KDB. So he's 18% owned, and he's only 12% effective ownership. His end of the season is great. Fulham, Tottenham, and West Ham. That West Ham game is just going to be like a turkey shoot. So game weeks 32 to 36, he's had 42 points in 5 games, 2 double-digit returns, 2 blanks, and interestingly, all of his returns have been away from home. He's an average 7 points per game, but his away returns in that time were 18, 9 and 11, and bear in mind that obviously his 2 back-to-back double game week games are away from home. So I kind of feel like he has been definitely more creative in those home games when they've got more of the ball.
Captaincy, maybe?
Well, he's actually got the most points of all mids in the last 4 games, so I'm not really sure why he's not such an auto pick based on effective ownership. And even though he seems obvious, he's definitely not in teams, because I think people, like you're saying, are going for Foden and definitely going for a defender, and I just feel like De Bruyne could be explosive like Odegaard was. 4 big chances created is the most of all mids in that time. 134 BPS is the most and nearly double of the next best in the last 4 game weeks. So pretty much, if he gets any return, he's probably going to get bonus as well. So I just think he looks good. He's not completed 90 in any of the last 4, which makes me kind of think that Pep is managing his minutes to feature in all of these important games. And even though last week I kind of thought maybe he would get more of a rest against Fulham, now I kind of think he's going to play and get like off at somewhere between 70 and 85, which is what has basically been happening to him. So I hadn't been considering, because I wanted to go juicy and get someone like Wilson or get Jackson up front, but both of those, or Jackson has got way higher EO than De Bruyne anyway, and I kind of feel like De Bruyne could pop off. You with me there? I suppose you have to be with me.
That is why I caught him. That's why I got him in. Hoping he would be a differential towards the end of the season. KDB is a differential. Great. Double game week coming. That sounds great to me. And those away stats I wasn't aware of. So that's all sounds good too as well. It's just like last week he was my huge differential. And, he didn't do anything, and he's 10.5 million on my budget versus a Gvardiol who's getting 6 points.
That is annoying.
Yeah, so he really is seems a little bit boom or bust at the moment, and just need him to show up, to be honest.
Another stat though to back that up about how good he has been away. If you take that even longer back to game week 27, so since game week 27 he's only missed one game, which was Aston Villa at home, and he blanked in all of the home games in that time, and he's returned in all of the away games in that time.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, it's just like I'd love to captain him, but then it's just like, oh my god, there's Haaland's in that team.
I know.
Just like, oh,
I know, that's who he's passing to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he just makes a good backup. Like at this point, I'd almost rather have KDB than Foden, and then like Foden could be like a Richarlison and try and bust the template that way.
Sure, I like that. Yeah, why not?
All right, let's chat. Who have you highlighted for mids?
Yeah, so I've got Richarlison here. 6.8 million, 2.8%. So certainly good punt. The Burnley at home, Man City at home, 2 home fixtures. 69% chance to win versus Burnley, apparently, but according to the bookies. So that's good. Like he's obviously a punt. But coming off the bench against Liverpool, like he did provide a spark, got a goal and assist against Liverpool. So I think that should reward him with at least a start versus Burnley, and then hopefully the second one he starts too. 0.65 expected goal involvement and a 0.45 xG versus Liverpool in like 29 minutes. So great, that's really good. Good record when starting game and playing 90 minutes this season. So he's had 90 minutes times 6 all season, which is obviously not great, but he's had 7 returns in those 90 minutes, so that's good. 11 goals and 4 assists coming from 1,492 minutes, and the total minutes this season so far is 3,240. So basically half. He's got 11 goals, 4 assists. When he starts, he gets returns. Yeah. So for me, the exact sort of punt that could win you some mini leagues, get you up the ranks, or if it goes pear-shaped, could do in the season. So he's an acquired taste, I suppose. But if I had any slots, like you're free to pick anyone on free hit, like Richarlison seems like a great option.
Did he look good against Liverpool in the last few minutes?
Yeah, like I said, 0.65 xGI in 29 minutes. Great. 0.45 xG as well. So yeah, that's good for limited time in a game. But he probably came on against a team that is like open to counter attack, and maybe that won't happen versus Burnley, but versus City, assuming he starts or even comes off the bench, I don't think that's a bad option at all.
Yeah, no, I do like him. All right, on other midfielders, probably the only other one I wanted to mention was Bruno if he comes back from his injury, because I think a lot of people sold him before, or it seemed like his ownership dropped. I saw a stat about how much it dropped before this game week just because of the double coming up. So
interesting. I'm surprised people dropped him just for... It's supposed to not be a big one.
No, I can't remember what the exact figure was.
Injury.
Yeah, but United need him back. But their form's woeful. I hadn't realised how bad it was. They've only had 1 win since game week 30 and 2 wins since game week 26. I didn't even realise it was that bad. It's awful. Despite that, Bruno has been like pretty good in the most recent games. 4, 18, 15, 9 and 8 in his 5 games before his injury. But like I said to you earlier, I don't think Arsenal-Newcastle seems like a good double game week. I don't think that Arsenal game is going to be like big returns, and I don't think the Newcastle is going to be big returns. I just think he's the only thing which backs Bruno is just like talisman, and anything they do get maybe is come through him. But yeah, I think it's interesting. His EO's definitely dropped, and he's a differential I think compared to some of the City mids. But I don't know. What do you think about having Bruno just on a free hit or a bench boost?
Free hit, I think he's probably a good option. Bench boost, I think he's harder to get. It's hard to tell. Like if he'd played last week and against Palace, then I think he probably would have been a great option. But we just don't know how he's coming back, and this team look woeful, so I'm not sure. Like I still have Garnacho, and I'm probably not gonna sell him, but like it doesn't seem like he's ever gonna return again either. So Arsenal seems like probably a clean sheet, and then for Arsenal, and then Newcastle, there's certainly potential there. But I feel like Newcastle are probably just going to like destroy.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be a United supporter at the moment. Everything is just so toxic, like all the time.
Yep.
All right. Any more on any mids?
Yeah, I was just going to mention Palmer. I think everyone's probably going to have him. Like he's 1-0 down slot for sure. Like Forest away, Brighton away. Those seem like 2 good games for attack at least. Yeah, I didn't actually know he was like 50% ownership, so that's crazy. But he's actually the joint top highest scoring mid in the game with 224, which for his first kind of full season,
that's crazy.
That's super impressive. So since game of 31, 25, 26, 0, 2, 6, and 8. So good. Obviously, the 0 and the 2 are disappointing. Obviously, I think one of them was against Sheffield United at home, I think it was. Yeah. So he didn't actually get a major haul in 35 double game week, but he did obviously end up returning when he was captain for everyone. But then he came back and returned, got a goal in the 5-0. Surprised he didn't sort of get multiple returns there. Jackson was the one to sort of profit in that game, I suppose. So I wanted to do a little thing about his home versus away form, because obviously these are 2 away games. So home he's had 19 returns, and versus away he's had 13 returns. So he's had 6 double digits at home versus 4 away. Home returns he's had 16 goals and 3 assists, whereas away returns are 5 goals and 8 assists. So like his assists seem to be more likely for away games. Like he's had a lot less goals, obviously, whereas like at home it's like 16 goals, 3 assists, and basically all goals. So here it's a bit more even between the 2, possibly veering towards assists. And I don't know, would you ever consider captain him for this, vice captain or anything like that?
When
their attack looks good, they just want to 5-0.
When we first got the game week, and now it's like 37 was going to be a double, and these fixtures came out at that time, I think Haaland was like, his form was not good, and it was around like game week 30, 31. I think he just played like Arsenal, and he'd not played against Villa, and he'd only just got a return. So at that time, I was thinking Palmer looked like a great pick for this game week. But the closer we've got to it, I just feel like, and maybe a little bit enforced by Haaland's 4 goals last weekend, I'm just like, Palmer and maybe not quite as good at home. Oh, sorry, not quite good as away from home as he is at home.
Yeah, I mean, 5 goals, 8 assists is not a bad return away from home. So he still does return away from home. It's just more assists, less goals. That's not really a bad thing.
No.
Not necessarily anyway. It's still points. So I think he could end up on like I don't know, maybe like a 8-pointer, same as this week, something like that. Maybe more than that, like 10. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the Forest game is hard to call because they've got something to play for, and they only lost 2-0 against City, and they were in that game with a couple of chances. So I don't know if that's like a big score, whereas that Brighton game I think could be a big score. I feel like if they score a goal early, then maybe that's a better game for them. Yeah, I think captaincy is this. Like I said last week, picking a captain that isn't Haaland this week requires some guts to do it, I think.
Oh yeah, big time. But it's pretty much the only chance left to captain someone else than him. Ryan game rank. But like 2 away games, Haaland's away form is not
good,
not great. So yeah.
What are you gonna do? Well, have you had any thoughts about? Like I would talk about Isaac as well, but how set are you on captaining Haaland? I do feel like it's running with the pack, but you're right. It's almost just like the fear factor of him hauling. Like his EO is like 161 or something.
Yeah, not set. But probably will just end up there. It's just, what's the difference between 150k and like 90k that I am now? Like maybe might as well just punt on someone else. I feel like I don't know.
I was thinking probably if I was more towards, let's say 100 to 200k, I'd probably do it. Maybe I'll still do it for the last game week, because I kind of think at the position I am, I'm like the only good milestone to be at from 65k is maybe to get to 50k. I finished 65k last season, so I'd be happy with just sort of like maintaining or beating that. So I don't know.
See, the problem with the last game week as well, 38, is West Ham at home for Haaland. So that seems like an absolute haul potential. So assuming he plays and the sort of title isn't already won by then, because I think last season he was benched 38, wasn't he? Because they were obviously in the Champions League final and stuff like that. But that probably isn't going to be the case this year. He'll probably play them all.
That is an interesting feature about this game week, actually, we haven't mentioned, is that Fulham Man City game is the first game of the game week, and we might get some team leaks. And if it turns out that De Bruyne, Foden, Vardial, or whoever isn't starting, I reckon there's going to be a lot of last minute hits and changes, just to try and maximise minutes in the double game week.
Yeah, that would be tough to change to at that point, because the second fixture, they're both good fixtures. So the thing, whoever gets benched, like Foden or De Bruyne or whatever, they're going to get at least half an hour on the first game anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they'll all play just like last time, but it was just unlucky that KDB and Foden pretty much didn't come up away with anything. It was just Haaland like hoovering all the points.
Yeah, dominating. Well, I got some numbers because I think we finished talking about mid, so I'll just talk about strikers now. I think, funnily enough, actually, Isaac would be my vice captain, and I wondered whether he was a legit captaincy option. So his numbers, surprisingly, even though his returns have been good, like his numbers have not been as high as I would have expected them to be. So 3.3 average shots in the box per 90 minutes is the seventh best of all forwards, which I was quite surprised that's so low. 1.15 xG per 90, he's much higher. So he's not having many shots, but like his shot quality is good. So that he's second best of all forwards for that metric. And he's not doing too bad like from a creative point of view. 0.29 big chances created per 90. That's the sixth best of all forwards. So I just did like quite a quick comparison of what I thought were like some good metrics. So Isaac's average points at home is 8.8. That's over the season, and his average points away from home is 4.7. Looking at Haaland, his average points away from home is 7.1. So if you look at both of those figures, Isaac, and across the double game week, you'd expect him to score 13.5 points. Haaland 14.2. So Haaland does beat him by 0.7. So not much. But then if you look at the teams they're facing, their average XGC conceded away from home, Brighton is 1.5. United's expected goals conceded at home is 1.7, so worse than Brighton's. So that gives you a total of expected goals conceded 3.2. So you'd expect Isaac's team, Newcastle, to score 3.2 goals in those games, fine. Interestingly, that is actually worse than the teams City are facing. So Fulham's XGC is 1.5 at home and Tottenham's is 1.4, so 2.9. So the numbers imply that defences Isaac's facing are worse than City's, and there's 0.7 difference in his like previous historical record this season and what he's going to get. So I think it's actually like a lot closer if it looks solely at those metrics. Really, but yeah.
I was certainly considering Isaac before the week. It's just, the Wilson question mark is like, I was looking at Wilson to bring in as like, because I was just sick of João Pedro, and Wilson looks like a great punt. That last year's double game week, which turned a lot of people's seasons. I went for Isaac, captain, and he did next to nothing. Wilson got something like 48 points in the double instead. So that looks like it was ready set to repeat itself, but apparently there's sort of issues with Wilson's fitness, possibly. We haven't had anything confirmed. We feel like possibly a hamstring, is that right? So it's that obviously makes Isaac better if Wilson's out, but nothing has been confirmed at all. Like, I think it's from one guy on Twitter that I think often gets team news about Newcastle wrong. So it's just, I don't know if he's doing some kind of massive mind game of just like telling people not to get Wilson, and he's just going to go up in the ranks of himself when he captains Wilson or something. But there is that worry about him, which for sure makes Isaac better. But if Wilson does turn up for like a game and a half, he's going to take away points from Isaac for sure. He did last week. And Isaac's penalty was terrible. Like probably the worst penalty he's possibly ever taken, saved. Lucky he got the rebound. Like Wilson said before, like you know, he's usually the penalty taker, and if he's on the pitch and some other guy's on a hat trick and he's not giving away the penalty, he's going to get to one goal. So Wilson is selfish for penalties as well. So yeah, seeing him miss last week, Wilson's going to want to take that for sure. So let's just hope he's not on the pitch.
Yeah. No, I hope he's not on the pitch. They're giving more weight to Captain Isaac. I think that the fact that Haaland's the first game of the game week, and you could just like already on the back of that, if he scored like 2 goals for Isaac's even playing, you're just thinking, oh, the weekend, your game week's ruined. But flip side of that, you get a blank, and then I just think it's really difficult, as it has been all season, to back against Haaland.
Yep. Okay, so why don't you captain this other guy, Nicholas Jackson?
Oh God.
No. Yeah, he's definitely not a captain potential, but you know, if you really wanted to, I mean, he's nailed on. He's going to play the minutes. True. Yeah, he's 7 million now, 13% owned. His EO, I expect, is probably going to be around 30-40%, maybe 50. I think most people are going to go for him this week now after that haul. So yeah, basically last week's sort of green or red arrows basically came down to owning him, which is kind of funny. Yeah, you said he was going to be a terrible pick.
I thought he was going to be terrible.
You hated him, but he got 3 goals, 1 assist since then.
Bad.
Yeah, so 16, 6, 2, 2, 14, and 2 in his last 6. Obviously, both games are away from home, so his home versus away record is at home 8 goals, 4 assists, away 5 goals, 2 assists. So he is better at home, but not by much of a margin. So that's a good sign for him. His stats are okay, like 17 shots, 3.57 xG, which is 3rd, 8 big chances at the moment, which is 4th, key passes 11, 2nd, big chances created 0, XA of 0.38, which is not in the top 10, so he's not looking like he's going to assist much, but yeah, his xG is good. So 3rd highest points for expected points in the double on 37, for 37 on 10, and then I want to do a sort of maybe more for me, but it might be useful for other people, with Jackson versus João Pedro, who I think is probably the other option people are looking at. So per 90 minutes, like XG, Jackson is on 16.5 versus 11.2. So these stats are actually across the season. Okay, so goals 30 versus 9, assists 6 versus 2, big chances 33 versus 13, shots in the box 63 versus 63. Chances created 36 versus 35. And I'm not actually sure what chances created is. I don't know where that came from, but that's an interesting one. Big chances created 8 versus 8. An XA of 2.8 versus 3.6. And then expected points 437 is 10 versus 9.1. So
quite close.
Yeah, ish. Like João Pedro's missed a good amount of minutes, so that is sort of favored in the way of Jackson, especially for big chances. But yeah, imagine if like those 33 versus 13 for big chances. Imagine if Jackson could finish.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
You know, so he's certainly like a Darwin, isn't he? Like gets loads of chances, fluffs them constantly. But yeah, so for me, like I have Gusto in my team, I have Petrovic in my team, and I have Palmer. So I'm thinking, is Gusto out to Jackson in from João Pedro? Is that worth a -4? Probably not. Like, I don't know, but
depends what the other moves are. I kind of think.
Well, the defender in, like, I don't even know at the point, because there isn't many good defenders, and I'm already tripled up on City, so it's maybe it'll be an Arsenal defender. I don't know, like Branthwaite. There is no good other like double, like maybe Romero, like, but that's it's double Spurs defense. No, thank you. So. And then the final one is just João Pedro, just for myself. Like, he's obviously a budget-friendly option, nailed on at the moment. But then since returning from injury, he's had 2-1, 2-2, 2-5. Missed a penalty, which I think he scored like 9 out of 9 penalties so far, and then missed that one. So again, lucky he got the rebound. Yeah, really bad form for himself. And then Brighton also have only won one from the last 6 in the Premier League. Not great.
Their form is poor, isn't it? They've kind of tailed off big time.
Yeah, so his non-penalty XG is a 1.73, which is 12th, which is way behind the top, which is kind of like Isaac on 4.4, Jackson on 3.5, Mateta on 3.3. Last 6 weeks, he's had 21 shots, which is 4th, which is, that's not bad. Big chance for himself, 4th, which is 11th. Key pass is 14, which is 1st, surprisingly. Okay, that's all right. Big chances created 3, which is 2nd. XA on 0.69, which is 6th. So he's looking like he's probably going to get more assists than goals, which is not ideal for an attacker, but the numbers are fairly okay. Problem is the numbers are okay, but he's not getting any returns. He's had 14 points in his last 6, which puts him outside the top 20 for all forwards, and that included games versus Burnley, Brentford, Bournemouth. For me, is he worth picking? On bench boost, I've said possibly. On a free hit, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm not even. He's not even crossed my mind, to be honest. But you're right. He'll play and he'll get the minutes, but I don't know about the returns, and maybe it is a 4-point hit to get rid of him for, I don't know, someone, whether that's Jackson or someone else, worth it. Not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just so is the replacement going to be good enough to outweigh a hit? Not sure. But is he going to play? He's got Newcastle away, Chelsea at home. They're not the worst fixtures, but at the same time, him and Brighton have just been really bad. He could be. Am I scared that he's going to haul if I sell him? Not really.
No, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, no.
But then again, he'd got a. There's nothing stopping him getting a penalty, and I assume he'll still be on them, and he usually scores them.
He's your low EO pick.
Yeah, but he's just terrible, isn't he? So
yeah.
But
then you've got to have
hard place.
You've got to have terrible players on your bench boost sometimes.
It's true.
Although if you can afford Jackson, he's obviously better, but then you have to take a hit somewhere to get rid of one of your other Chelsea players, if we're talking specifically about your team, I suppose.
Yeah, which would be Gusto. But Gusto, we haven't mentioned him, but he's obviously back.
Yeah.
He played 20 odd minutes, I think, or it's 10 minutes actually. So he's back, and he has been one of their better players this season, but they've just kept 2 clean sheets in a row. Is he going to come straight back in?
You hope so.
You hope so, but I would lean towards no. Why would he change it when they've just got 2 clean sheets in a row?
Yeah, true.
It's, does he play 130 minutes maybe? I don't know. That seems generous.
It does seem generous, to be honest.
So maybe a hit out for Gusto out maybe makes more sense then. Because he's probably not going to be starting both. So yeah, it's something I've got to weigh up for sure. I think a -4, and I've got Garnacho as well. Garnacho seems like he's not going to do anything. He could be a sell as well. So yeah, things to consider.
Should we look at, because I think that wraps up all of the players we've got to talk about, doesn't it?
We should go into the team.
Should we have a look at your team, because then we can talk about it in more detail for people who are also on bench boost. So you've obviously got the bench boost active. You've got 2 single game week players. Ain't Nori, who looks like he's fit now.
Yep.
So I take it there's no real reason to get rid of him.
I'm considering taking him out just for another doubler, but it's just who. And then Gusto is obviously looking like he's maybe not good. João Pedro, like I said, don't know. I would have loved to have gone to João Pedro to Wilson. I've got the money in the bank to do it.
Yeah.
That third Newcastle asset seems like someone I should be getting, whether it be Garnacho to Gordon, possibly. But Garnacho's got 2 home games.
Yeah.
The 2 home games are, admittedly really shit. So, Gordon could be good upside there too. Not sure. But yeah, Aït-Nouri probably out to someone. I don't know. Gabriel probably will stay. There's
what will
definitely
swing
a few
it for
question
you
marks.
for how many free transfers have you got? 2?
1.
Oh,
so
1.
yeah, it's an awkward place to be.
So you could look at a -8. Gusto, João Pedro, and Aït-Nouri out.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever worth it on a bench boost, is it?
Well, depends. If you hit the right player, I suppose it might end up being worth it.
I think -4 would be the top I would take, and it would probably be Aït-Nouri would be at least one of them out, because I think his last fixture is really bad.
Yeah, it is bad. It's bad fixtures. Liverpool away, I think it is.
Yeah, so that's, I'm certainly not going to want him for 38. So I don't know. I'm really undecided, unfortunately. I've just got to weigh up those things. Not easy, unfortunately.
No, right. So, but you're quite set. Haaland captain, Palmer vice captain. Who are you thinking of? Who potential Ignore replacements then from any of the players we've spoken about this evening? Who could you get? You could get a secondary Spurs defender.
Yeah, maybe Romero or maybe just like I don't know, Branthwaite. Well, there probably wouldn't be any point in that
because he plays Arsenal away on the last game week.
Well, at the same time, like I'm transferring a single player for another single player. That's stupid. So maybe a Brighton defender.
Yeah,
but yeah, Newcastle away and Chelsea. No, that doesn't seem good, does it? So
Dunk for like the game week header.
Yeah, but then he's almost definitely getting an own goal. So Dunk loves own goals, and in a double game week, that seems like it's nailed on. So
well, they've got Man United in the last game week, so that could be a clean sheet as well.
I mean, outside of like Burn, Porro, and Vardiol, what good defenders are there? Or Walker, like, and obviously I can't get a City defender. Like, it's probably Romero. That's like the only one.
Yeah, probably Romero. You could get
Man United defense, no way.
You could maybe get White. You could maybe get White, even though it's a single game week player, just because then you've got double Arsenal defense for the final game of the season, and he's been good. Maybe.
Yeah, and then
it's not great this game week, admittedly, away against Arsenal, but you know he's got attacking returns from open play already this season a lot of times. So
yeah, it seems so risky.
Maybe a United defender. No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's difficult. It does feel like the options are limited because of when this double game week's fallen. Yeah, Van der Ven maybe, he's cheap.
Like Cucurella, I think is not a bad option for people who still need a Chelsea defender. Like he seems to have nailed down that spot. But obviously I'm triple Chelsea still, so can't do that. No. Tough spot.
All right,
go on to yours.
Well, you're going to be looking at a very similar team, to be honest. I did this earlier, and it's my first draft of doing it, and it's so boring. I think so. It's pretty much all the same. I think the only difference from yours at the moment is Gordon for Garnacho. Obviously, no bench boost, and I haven't sorted out the bench players yet. So, but based on the back of this chat, I kind of think I'm leaning towards Foden out for Richarlison, or a striker, either Wilson if he's fit or Jackson, and then just play with just De Bruyne, Haaland, get Gvardiol in, Porro maybe to Romero just for the difference. And
Gvardiol instead of Gusto, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And then if Trippier's fit, then Burn to Trippier. Maybe worth even if he plays.
I don't think you'll ever know, will you?
No, I don't think we'll know. If Howe says he looks like he's ready to start this game week, or which I think is very unlikely, then I'll say. But I think it's too much of a gamble otherwise, because he could just play one game away against United, which isn't that great. But I just think, like I said to you at the start of the show, I feel like the template and it's pretty set, and I feel like hard to go against it.
Trippier, like, Hal's certainly never gonna. I don't think he's ever gonna say what, like, if he's fit and ready to go. But then, like, he's gonna want minutes to definitely get in the. Well, I assume he will, but definitely get in the England squad. True. But he's gonna want minutes to get form up to try and possibly start in that England team. So, I think he's gonna want to start as soon as he can. If that makes a difference, I'm not sure. He is obviously the club captain. Tough.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping something will come out about it. And I suppose the only other benefit to the free, because I was on Sunday when the game rolled around as well, I was thinking, Wilson's going to be like the magic bean, and triple Newcastle attack would be great.
That's what I wanted,
because I didn't think many people will have him. But now I feel like he's not an option. Richarlison would have been an option, but he's only played like 10 minutes against Liverpool, so there's not like he might start, but there's no like.
I feel like he should. I think he played more than 10 minutes, didn't he?
But they could play Johnson, Kulusevski, Maddison, and Son again. Like there's no guarantee. Like he's been back now for, I suppose, on the bench, but there's no guarantee he's going to start. And I just think that's unnecessary risk in the double game week. But you know what? I think the one perk I have as being on free hit is if we get some crazy Man City team news on leak on the Saturday morning. because if any combination of Haaland, De Bruyne, or Foden are benched or not in the squad for whatever reason, then I can kind of like flip and react to that and maybe do something there. But yeah, I think it's a difficult one to make rank this week.
Yeah, maybe it's the single players on the bench boost or something like that make the difference and sort of thing.
Yeah.
But there isn't that many great single game games apart from Everton.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know. No, it's a tough one.
Maybe we're like a Bowen, but obviously you're not going to change like Bowen against Luton at home seems quite good, but
and then they've got
you're not going to change any of the mids, are you? So like,
no, and then they've got Man City away on the last day of the season. So yeah, I think it's really difficult. I think that's why everyone seems to be like in this very high ownership. Like I could tell you the team. It's got Haaland, Isaac, Jackson, Petrovic, and Onana. The defenders are going to be Porro, Burn, Gvardiol, and Gusto, and maybe Gabriel. And then the mids are probably just going to be Palmer, Son, Foden, Gordon, Bruno / De Bruyne. That's pretty much every pick.
Yep. 100%.
And it's just trying to work out like if any single game week player is worth better than that. If Arsenal were playing at home this game week, I think a lot more people would go for an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Cool. Have we got any more to add?
I don't think so. I'm probably gonna have to spin a wheel for what I'm doing. Yeah.
I know. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back next week with our preview game week 38, the last one of the season.
Indeed.
That's crazy. All right. Thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Cheers all.
Bye.